Hello friends, welcome to EPG Pathshala. My name is Dr. Deepika Dapke and I am an Associate Dean with IBS Business School, Mumbai. Today we are going to look at a very interesting module, which is factors influencing adult learning and motivation in adult learning. Learning is one of the most critical and dynamic process that we encounter as individuals, teachers, trainers and therapists. My understanding of the process of learning, especially the adult learning, stems from early training and roots in psychology and a practical experience gathered in the capacity of a trainer, dealing with various adult learners for almost 15 years now. In this module, we will be trying to look at various aspects associated with the adult learning process and specifically try to discuss strategies of motivating adult learners. Adult learners are different than children in many ways. Especially with respect to learning, they are different than children both in terms of their motivation and in the ways in which they want to learn. Therefore, as we need to be cognizant about these various differences between them and the scientific assumptions underlying these differences. Now, we need to do this while considering the curricular management part as well as the instructional strategizing for our class. The contextual framework of learning has undergone a sea change. We are now considering learners from various platforms across classroom learners to online and virtual learners. Now, there have been, however, there have been certain universal truths with respect to learners, old as well as young. For example, learning has always been known to be an effective process when the learners are taught through multimodal approach. That is, when there is a use of more than one senses while the learning is on. Experiential learning has also shown to yield a lot of positive benefit for all type of learners. Yet, adult learners tend to learn differently than others. Adults committing themselves to continual learning have always intrigued educationists and psychologists alike. Experts have tried to decipher how the age and stage of the learner affects the learning process. Practitioners have painstakingly identified various factors that influence the adult learners and the ways to motivate and energize them. The current module throws light upon some of these factors and the strategies that we can be using in order to motivate our adult learners and people who are committing to this kind of an educational process. And therefore, the learning objectives of this particular module can be threefold. One, understanding the difference between the andragogical approach and the pedagogical approach to learning. We will also be enumerating factors that influence the adult learning process. Lastly, we will be ascertaining certain strategies that can be planned to motivate the adult learners. The first and critical question that all of us as adult educators should look at and we should ask ourselves is that if the adult is a learner, then who exactly am I? The central issue as far as this particular aspect concerns is that the instructor needs to address while dealing with the adult learner is what is their own role goal clarity. The instructor needs to clarify whether his or her role is that of a teacher or that of a facilitator. Most teachers acknowledge the fact that learning has to be a two-way process, but many a time fall to a prey to the common fallacy that to be effective one needs to talk more and listen less. Lecturing and monologues can be a biggest distractor in adult learning, in fact any type of learning. The instructor has to refrain from getting into a performance mood and need to get attuned to the exact objectives and needs of the learner. They need to transform themselves into a facilitator who can be a catalyst in the learning process. They also need to adopt the position advocated by Socrates, which says, I cannot teach anybody anything. I can only make them to think. And as adult educators, I think this is the biggest task that we are trying to achieve, where we are trying to make our adult learners to think, to fend for themselves. Moving forward, let us understand what is the technical definition provided for learning as a process. Learning has been defined as Morgan and King as any relatively permanent change in behavior that occurs as a result of experience and practice. With any adult learner, therefore, we realize that they come into the learning environment with some experience that may help or hinder the learning process. The facilitator thus has to understand the 5 W's and 1 H of the learning process and make a thorough analysis before deciding what is going to be the best strategy to implement for best learning from the point of view of an adult learner. The why of this process involves understanding why exactly is the adult learning at this stage of life. Is it mandatory? Is it voluntary? Or is it an opportunity that the adult learner is trying to explore? The why not only helps the facilitator to identify the right nature of the material, but also provides an idea of the nature of the driving forces for the adult learner. The next area that we look into is the what. What drives the adult learner to learn? What does he aspire to learn? What knowledge, skill or aptitude needs to be honed at this particular stage of his life? The next question in this analysis is the where. Where does the learning take place? Does it call for a classroom interaction? Is the learner a virtual learner or a participant? This is something that we need to take in mind when we are strategizing. Next we come to the when. When exactly will learning take place? How frequently will the learners meet for the learning process or the purpose? We also look at who exactly is the learner. What type of past experience do they carry with them? Lastly, we look at how is the learning going to be? How will the content be delivered? What would be the degree of participation of the learner in the learning process that we are trying to seek? Once this analysis is done, the adult educator has a fair idea of how his entire intervention is going to flow. Before we start looking at the practical interventions, we need to get accustomed to the theoretical underpinnings of adult learning. At the wake of the 19th century, philosopher John Dewey promoted experiential and reflective thinking that was known then as progressive learning. And in its pure form, self-directed learning came into play. What exactly do we mean by self-directed learning? Self-directed learning refers to a process whereby the learner takes complete responsibility of initiating the learning process with or without the help of others. They are necessarily diagnosing, identifying their learning needs, defining goals for themselves, identifying the use of resources for learning and evaluating their learning outcomes. This is how it has been defined by Knowles in 1975. To a large extent, adult learning would also involve more than one of the above characteristics. Adult learners may have chosen to take up a course keeping their needs in mind. With respect to particular subject, let's say English, their need may be a grammatical construction and may not so much be vocabulary building, although the instructor may be interested in working on both. However, the adult learner's motivation would depend on whether we have enough practice with respect to grammar and construction. Moving forward, two educationists, Cyril Hole and Malcolm Knowles, have contributed immensely to the understanding of adult learning. Dr. Hole believed that there are three major types of motivated learners, and we are now quickly going to look at all the three categories. You have goal-oriented learners and they are out to accomplish something identifiable or some specific objectives that they are interested in. A student seeking an additional degree, a certificate, is an example of this type of a goal-oriented learner. These individuals may try to utilize the education for addressing family issues, social issues or certain community issues. The next set of learners, according to Dr. Hole, is activity-oriented learners, and these are those participants who are looking at learning for reasons other than learning itself. They are not so much interested as far as content or curriculum is concerned. These individuals may be lonely and are trying to seek friends, escape painful family experiences, or are generally interested in socialization and networking. Most often, they will learn to fulfill their needs to socialize, make friends or escape from the mundaneness of their regular normal home life. The third category of learners are an interesting category who are called as learning oriented learners. These are learners who seek knowledge for knowledge's sake. They are avid readers, will participate in activities which intellectually stimulate them, may have diverse knowledge of varied areas, and may ask a lot of questions as they possess an inquisitive mind. This research, which was conducted, really gives us a framework to categorize our adult learners. The reason why we need to be aware of these type of learners is because the motivational drives for each of these learners are different, and as adult educators we should be able to identify what exactly would motivate our adult learners appropriately and then decide strategies to facilitate their learning process aptly. The next important concept for all facilitators associated with adult learning is andragogy. This has been one of the most extensively followed model of adult learning process and a very important motivational principle. Malcolm Knowles has enumerated the adult andragogical approach and contrasted it with the pedagogical approach. Andragogy in Greek terms means man leading as compared to pedagogy in which means child leading. Essentially, Knowles tries to compare the fundamental differences in teaching a child as contrast to teaching an adult class, and enumerates the motivational differences between the two groups. In 1984, Knowles suggested 4 principles that are applied to adult learning. Later, this got extended to 5 important principles, and now we will be looking at each of these principles in the framework of adult learning or adult education. Andragogy assumes that adult learners are fairly independent and self-directed in their approach to learning. As a result, self-concept becomes the first important principle that moves or motivates them. As a person matures, his or her self-concept moves from one being of an independent personality to one being of a self-directed human being, and therefore self-concept plays a very major role when it comes to motivating the adult learner. The second important principle that Knowles talks about is the adult learner's own experience that he or she carries in the classroom. As a person matures, he or she accumulates a growing reservoir of experience that becomes an increasing source of learning. Thus, the adult learner learns the best when he can assimilate new information with his existing experience and enjoys participation in discussion, case studies, field experiences, so on and so forth. The third principle that Knowles talks about is the readiness to learn. As a person matures, his readiness to learn becomes oriented, increasing towards a developmental task of his or her social goal. There is an intrinsic need to identify a gap between the existing knowledge and the new information so as to fulfill the social roles to the best possible manner. And therefore, he is constantly trying to learn something new that will help him fulfill his goal in a better way. The next principle that we look at is the orientation to learn. The entire orientation of the adult learner is towards practical problem solving. This is what prompts him to gain new information. As a person matures, his or her time perspective changes from one of postponed application of knowledge to an immediate application of knowledge. As a child, I may be happy to learn and not really think about that information. But as an adult, I would immediately want to go back to my life and try to apply some of these knowledge principles. As a result, an adult learner's orientation towards learning shifts from a subject-centeredness to one of a performance-centeredness, wherein he is expected to help himself perform his roles or his goals in a better way through this particular learning experience. The next, therefore, aspect is the motivation to learn. As a person matures, the motivation to learn is an intrinsic motivation or an internal motivation. The adult learner has a number of intrinsic motivational drivers that make learning experience very special and personal for the learner. Keeping these aspects in mind, let's look at an example. If we have Revati as an adult educator and she is trying to get ready for a class, Would her preparedness be based on whether she is planning to engage a class of 7th grade children or an adult education class? I am sure all of you are having a firm yes in your mind when I am asking this question, believing that Revati's preparedness would definitely be different. We are already thinking how her preparation for each of this class would be different. The difference would be exhibited by the andragogical approach and the pedagogical approach. So we will need to quickly have a look at how are these two approaches different. Andragogical approach underlying the adult learner assumes that the learner is largely responsible for his or her own learning, as against the pedagogical approach wherein the learner is dependent completely on the teacher for the learning process. Thus, the adult learner is more in control of the evaluation of the learning outcomes. In the pedagogical approach, the learner's past experience is considered to have a very little significance during the learning process. For example, children are not expected to know so much about what they are really going to learn. The entire focus therefore lies on the experience of the instructor and their ability to create a fruitful learning experience through this whole pedagogical interaction. On the other hand, when we look at the andragogical approach, the learner's past experience has a huge significance and is considered to be a rich source to learn from. The more diverse the group, the greater the potential to learn from diverse experiences existing in the classroom. The motivational factors for or readiness to learn in a pedagogical approach is movement from one grade to another, and in that sense completion of a particular curriculum. On the other hand, for an adult learner, in case of andragogy, the readiness to learn stems from either a need to perform certain tasks or duties in a given social role, or a need to bridge the gap between current knowledge level and the desired level of knowledge. This makes the learner oriented to the problem solving and the performance directedness approach as against the subject oriented approach that we have already talked about, which is the key factor for any child to learn. Finally, the adult learner's motivational drives stem from a deeper need of self-esteem, self-actualization and recognition, sometimes also achievement orientation, as against the child's motivation to learn in order to impress the teacher, earn grades or pass and go to the next level. This brings us to the major core of this particular module, which is what are the factors that affect the learning process of an adult. With the theoretical background in mind, let us now look at some of these factors that determine the learning consequences for an adult. While addressing this issue, I would like to categorize these factors into three major areas. We would look at the trait, the state and the environmental factors that influence learning for an adult learner. We shall be considering each of these categories separately to determine how these elements influence the adult learning process. This we shall achieve by looking at each of these factors closely. Trait is a more enduring and stable characteristic of an individual that influences the thinking and behavior of a person. The expression of certain traits can be altered to some extent through training and maturity. However, a complete makeover or a change in the trait may not be possible or even desirable. Some of the common factors that the facilitator needs to consider while dealing with an adult learner are as follows. The first that they would want to look at is intelligence. Participants of the adult learning program may vary in terms of their intellectual abilities as well as their aptitudes to imbibe certain types of training. Speaking in the terminology offered by Cattell, adult learners may be more equipped with crystallized intelligence given the richness of the life experiences that they bring with them. Instructors need to be prepared to leverage this during their training process. Howard Gardner developed the theory of multiple intelligence that explains a broad range of abilities that people can use while learning. Learning disability may also be one of the intelligence related aspects that adult educators should keep in mind while estimating the intellectual ability of the adult learner and strategizing accordingly. The second trait factor is aptitude. As we know, aptitude is the ability to benefit from certain type of training. The learner's objective to take up a course needs to be matched with his aptitude for a particular body of knowledge and skill building exercise. Self-esteem becomes the next important trait that the adult learner brings with him or her. Self-esteem and confidence are considered to be one of the most dominant traits that impact adult learning. Poor self-esteem may affect the level of participation, retention of the material, and the ability to clarify one's doubt during the learning process. Facilitators' role in building the self-esteem through a secure environment, positive reinforcement, and a constant support is of paramount importance during the entire process of learning. The goal of learning is also to equip the learner with a sense of achievement and can-do approach. Thus, self-esteem is both an input as well as an output of a continual learning process. Next important trait that we consider is anxiety, a factor closely associated to self-esteem. It is the level of anxiety experienced by the learner that determines how comfortable the learner would be in the learning process. Learners with a high degree of generalized anxiety may show traits of low participation, forgetfulness, confusion while attempting exams, escapism and withdrawal when it comes to assignments and presentations. An adult educator therefore needs to look out for these overt expressions and provide adequate support and hand-holding to the learners showing the traits of anxiety. Next important aspect is openness to new experience. Learners high on this trait are likely to be very curious and inquisitive during their learning process. They may be participative, ready for group work, presentations, etc., and may enjoy a highly stimulating environment. On the other hand, people low in this trait may take a longer time to settle in the course, may become anxious with the interactive methodology which is being provided since they are not used to this kind of interaction, and may require a graded and gradual level of experimentation while learning. The next important element is one's ability to socialize. Given that adult learning is going to be a lot of peer-to-peer interaction and participation, learners who are by nature extroverts may find the learning process more congenial. They may show a good level of engagement in the learning. On the other hand, introverts may be very keen learners but may not exhibit the typical exuberance associated with a high level of engagement. As a result, instructors must need to take special effort to get individuals involved if they are introverts and be contributors in the learning process. Very important factor is conscientiousness, which is a trait to be very systematic and methodological. This kind of a diligent approach is a great asset to the learner. However, some participants may lack the structured approach required for effective learning. High levels of conscientiousness can also lead to better motivation to learn and being stay put in the learning process, in spite of a number of hurdles and discomforts that the learner may be experiencing. An instructor therefore should try to make sure that some amount of conscientiousness is created in their learning batch. Next we move on to experience. We have already talked about a lot in terms of the role of experience in adult education. Different participants bring with them different experiences, exposures and cultural bearing with them. As a result, richness of this experience can be best leveraged if the teaching strategies have ample possibility for active participation of the adults in the learning process. Next important aspect is the achievement orientation on the part of the learner. Some adult learners may be very high in achievement motivation and would be eager to make the best use of all the resources available. They may have a lot of expectation out of the learning process and may strive to excel in all the assignments provided to them. Adult instructors need to really motivate these people who are high on achievement motivation so that they bring out the best from them. The next set or category or bucket of characteristics or factors that we would be looking would be the state aspects. Now we are done with the trait and we move on to the state. State is a temporary phase that a learner may go through during the learning process. The adult educator needs to be cognizant of this issue in order to deal with the adult learners effectively. The first important state or a mental is the mental frame that a learner walks with. We need to be appreciative of the fact that adult learners are simultaneously attending to a lot of life issues and may be going through varied life experiences that may help or harm their learning process. They may be easily distracted and may have a short attention span. They may at times be sleep deprived or exhausted due to a number of family responsibilities and multiple roles that they engage into. Adults generally are faced with a lot of pressures and issues related to family finances, illnesses, child rearing or bearing issues, or other social obligations. Their priorities may not always be designed around the learning experience, and at times education may take a back seat or may not come right in front as far as their to-do chart is concerned. Different individuals may have different experiences about past learning, and therefore they may carry different mental frames when they come into the current learning process. Few of the learners may not be very comfortable about being the part of a learning process and may take time to acclimatize themselves to the entire learning process. They may feel very insecure, have a fear of getting exposed in front of the group, and therefore they may be less communicative or participative in the entire process. Some may try to seek a lot of attention of the instructor and may start becoming a distracting element for other learners. These temporary but pertinent factors may have a strong bearing in the learning process and the learning outcomes of the adult learner. Adult educators therefore should be extremely sensitive to all these factors and try to make sure that they consider all of these elements when they are strategizing for an effective classroom interaction. The third category of factors that we would be now looking at would be environmental factors. The natural surroundings or physical settings may have a huge impact on the learning outcomes. It has been shown in research that well illuminated and airy rooms facilitate better learning and the retention of learnt material. Factors such as appropriate temperature, humidity, spaciousness of the teaching room creates a much required positive environment for learning to take place. Stimulating environment, which is with informative boards, posters, charts, may make learning more multimodal, that is more sensory in its approach and more interesting for the adult learner. The presence of electronic infrastructure to support learning in the form of projectors, e-boards, computers not only assess the instructor to use multiple media in learning but also generates curiosity and positive anticipation for the learner. It has also been found that familiarity with people and places reduces the general anxiety or diffidence that some learners may possess. Adult learners also need adequate freedom and opportunity to move in the given room and interact with peers. This social connect helps them become more comfortable with the learning process and reduces a feeling of isolation or diffidence when it comes to starting the whole learning experience afresh. With all this now, the last aspect that we would be looking at is how is it that we are going to motivate adult learners so that they sustain the entire learning experience. We will be now considering all these factors that influence learning and then try to strategize around some of these factors. First, let us try and move to specific motivational aspects that govern the learning process. Macmillan and Frost has defined motivation as a purposeful engagement in classroom tasks and study to master concepts as well as skills. Motivation comes from the word movere, meaning to move. Now, by this definition, motivation is the force that prompts the organism in the direction of the desired goal. Motivated students are those who take learning seriously and try to get the maximum benefits rather than merely getting by or doing the minimum amount of work that is necessary. This is how the researchers like to define motivation in context of learning. In order to devise appropriate motivational strategies for an adult learner, we need to consider three main aspects that determine student motivation. When we look at these three aspects, they are the three stakeholders in the process. One is the learner himself, second is the instructor, and the third is the learning process as it may come out for the learner. First, let us look at the learner as the whole element which determines the motivational factor. Let's try and first create a prototype of an adult learner from all that we have said till now. An adult learner may 1. Have specific goals and needs or objectives. They value practical information and they are not really looking at theoretical models and knowledge. Third, they have and possess a rich life experience and want to be actively involved in the learning process. Next is that they may have a short attention span and may get distracted if not kept well engaged. Next, they also possess a lot of family responsibilities and may have diverse abilities. At times, they may be rigid in their approach. This can become a hindrance in the entire learning process. But on the other hand, they prefer continuous feedback and may benefit from repetitions of the information or continual practice. If you look at motivational factors, there are two main types of motivational factors that a learner possesses. These can be categorized as intrinsic motivators and extrinsic motivators. Some of the intrinsic motivators include specific needs or objectives that you have, a sense of self-worth or self-concept which may get improved after your entire learning process. So, my motivation is to improve my self-concept after learning, my attitude towards learning, which is a very important intrinsic motivator. If I have a positive attitude, learning is going to be fun for me. Self-efficacy or a belief in my ability to learn. A good self-efficacy will always help me to be very open to the learning process. Curiosity becomes a very important intrinsic motivator. A lot of adult learners decide to come back to learning because they have very curious and inquisitive minds. Next is the internal locus of control, wherein they take responsibility of things that happen to them. As a result, they are going to be tuned to all these various intrinsic factors that would improve their motivation level to stay in learning. At an extrinsic level, there are a number of factors that may motivate an adult learner. Positive reinforcement that they seek from the instructor is always a very important intrinsic factor that help a person in the learning process. We have experienced this even as children, and as a result, positive reinforcement becomes a very important factor to get the desired behavior from your learners. The amount of challenge also becomes an important intrinsic factor, wherein challenges and complexities of learning material may become a great motivator for the individual. Appreciation and support from peers and other people involved in the learning process also is a very important extrinsic factor which help people continue in the learning process. Success and experience of success is also a very important learning motivator, and therefore an instructor needs to create factors where success can be experienced by the learner. Skill building is definitely an important factor. Practical application of the factors that they are learning also is a major motivator for all adult learners. Lastly, instructor characteristics itself becomes a very important factor. A liking towards the instructor, the style of teaching, etc. also becomes a very important appealing factor for the learner to continue in the learning process. An adult educator therefore has to deal effectively with an adult learner and may need to have some of the characteristics that we would be talking about now to be an effective instructor. First and foremost, the instructor needs to exhibit passion and high level of energy in the learning process. You are going to be a great role model for a learner, and the learner is going to learn a lot from you when we talk about extrinsically learning things from the learning process. Superior articulation ability is a must for an instructor. Being simple, lucid, at the same time interesting and engaging are characteristics and can be a great challenge for the instructor. An instructor needs to at all times have a lot of respect and empathy and a non-judgmental approach towards an adult learner. Please remember, they are not children, have chosen to come back to the learning experience, and we need to be respectful of all that they have gone through life till now. They definitely need to be a subject matter expert for them to be taken seriously. They need to be open-minded and should be ready to learn through the adult learners also, given that they come with rich experience. They need to have a balance of a structured and a flexible approach. A structure to make sure that learning is happening, but flexible enough to address all the needs that the learner comes with. There have to be a clarity of objectives for the learning to take place, and there has to be a good alignment of these objectives to the student needs that we are talking about. They definitely need to have an art of storytelling. Experiences, analogies, examples from the repertoire of the adult learner is something that will keep the adult learner motivated and engaged in your entire learning process. They also need to have an experimentative attitude. That is how you are going to have a great repertoire of various learning exercises which will get created during the learning process. Finally, the process of learning also becomes an important motivator. Motivation would heavily depend on the strategies and process that you as a facilitator would take up and you would utilize in order to influence the learning of the adult learner. These strategies again can get categorized into two major buckets. You may be wanting to look at some intellectual strategies and some social strategies. Now, intellectual strategies aim to facilitate the exploratory need of the adult. Materials such as infographics, videos, lectures, podcasts and online material can help the adult to explore at his own pace. Some of the intellectual strategies that can be created during the learning process could be simulations, role plays, some kind of small case studies or caselets, a lot of case examples that you can narrate or talk about, small quizzes which will help you to give a feedback to your learner, discussions, presentations, workplace scavenger. What do we mean by this? Trying to make your learner identify where are the theoretical aspects going to get applied when it comes to workplaces or their working areas. Student designed assignments where you have groups of students actually creating their own assignments and evaluating themselves. Helping them in a number of memory techniques like acronyms or some other memory games which will help them learn better. Self-assessment sheets, multimodal approaches, challenges through a number of games that you can design to facilitate your learning goals. These are some of the ways in which intellectually you can keep your adult learners challenged and motivated. Moving on to some of the social strategies which are involved in order to create a positive learning atmosphere and creating a bond with the learner, you can look at a number of strategies or factors which could help you in this process. First and foremost, all social strategies which are aimed at creating respect towards a learner are very important. These could be praising, giving a positive reinforcement, using shaping as a behavioral technique that will enhance the confidence of the learner and make him feel successful in the learning process becomes very important. Appreciation and praise has a very important place in the learning process. This creates a sense of achievement and prompts the participants to engage meaningfully as well as to try to excel in the given task, therefore making their self-esteem and self-concept really bloom. Creation of a lot of group learning activities that provide an opportunity to the adult learner to interact with others are also very important. Remember, all learning experiences are simultaneously helping the learner to improve what we call as their soft skills, which are extremely important for an adult learner. All activities which will help the learner leverage their experiences also are going to be very important so that learners can relate to the new information and find learning really meaningful. Social strategies will also involve an ability for you to provide constant feedback to your learner. Provision of ample opportunities for the learner to practice skills acquired during the learning process are a must, because that is how socially the learner is going to feel confident to exhibit his skills which he has honed. Group assignments in the classroom, recognition box by way of which not only you but the peers can also provide a lot of positive reinforcement to the participants are some of the techniques which go beautifully with an adult learner. Very important is the social emotional involvement that creates a good bond between the learner and the facilitator. Most of the social strategies therefore are actually aiming at creating a positive environment and an emotional bond between all the learning participants. Now it's time to summarize all that we have been saying for so long. Adult learners come with their unique characteristics and can pose specific challenges to an adult educator. The effectiveness of the educator lies in the appropriate diagnosis followed by the prescription of specific strategies that will fulfill the goal of the learner. We end with the words of Linda Conway, which say, "It's not what is poured into the student that counts, but what is actually planted." I hope whatever we have been talking about will help you strategize for your class much better and be a good resource for us to make learning a good experience for all our adult learners. Happy facilitating and thank you so much for all your patient ear. Thanks a lot.